This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Good night.
And this is a new role for Stewart. Not as defending champion, he's been that before, but as team leader and mentor. Stewart was always the junior teammate to Bobby Labonte, not in wins or point position necessarily, but in terms of years of experience. Now, Stewart is the senior member of that team, and he's got two young guns looking up to him. Let's go back down to the garage and Dave Burns.
And Ryan Newman was one of the first cars back in the garage. And Ryan, changing among other things, your helmet.
Yeah, had one of the earplugs weren't quite right, and the voice was dropping. The spotter was dropping out, and that's not really a good thing. So just swapped the helmet out and just checking over everything. This is a brand new race car. It's not one that we tested here. So just checking over everything, make sure the tolerances are right, and it's a good all-tell Dodge for tomorrow night.
And just to repeat, your car was bottoming out, and they're working on the height adjustment.
Yeah, just checking the stuff, see what's hitting. Sometimes it's good to hit, sometimes it's not good to hit. We're just checking.
Yeah, it does work both ways there, and obviously first of the season, checking out a lot of things like his helmet as well and all the connections there, Mike.
Like Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman has a new teammate for 2006. But shootout practice continues on Speed after this. Red flag at Daytona for the 25 of Brian Vickers. Something let go on the right side of the car. Looked like smoke out perhaps, but watch the blue and white 25.
It appears that maybe was coming out the exhaust pipe, so it definitely looks like this thing has had an engine let go on it. He only had 8 laps on the racetrack in this practice session, but right in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I was going to say, talk about somebody being lucky. An 8 car there is going to be saying, oh no, not this at the very beginning of the year, brand new race car. Very lucky right there.
Well, let's ride with Dale Jr.
Supply of things that you can change, because NASCAR locks you into so many things. They lock you into the rear spring package that you run. They issue your rear shocks. Everyone runs the same rear shocks. So really all you have, and that's what you see a lot of teams working with, is front springs, front shocks, and front sway bar. And I know everywhere we go is you see them 3 wide at the end of the backstretch. We talk about getting the cars down on the ground. Soft setup. But what you got to be careful here, Jeff, getting the front down on the ground so much, it kicks that rear spoiler up in the air, and that hurts the speed of the race car. So there's a fine line there, the attitude of the car going through the air.
Yeah, you hear a lot of these guys talk about the attitude, and that's what probably is going on with Slugger Labby in an 88 car. He knows he wants to get the car freer, getting down in the corner, but he's got to be careful. Take too much right front spring away from it, all of a sudden the rear blade comes up and he won't run down the straightaway. So you have to kind of like work a little bit of both front springs with some front sway bar to get the car where you want it, the right attitude.
1 hour to try to find the best balance. There will be one more practice session later on in early evening today for the Budweiser Shootout. But right now, that number 5, Kyle Busch, the Kellogg Chevrolet, is quickest. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Budweiser Chevy, second. Kevin Harvick, GM Goodrich Chevrolet, third fastest.
And let me interrupt here before we get away from it too very much. You talked about earlier about getting cars in different positions, and the reason why you want to do that. Right now, as you see the 8 car pushing Ryan Newman up through here, being followed by Jamie McMurray. A lot of times you get behind a guy like that, all of a sudden the air doesn't go in your cowl to feed the engine, and you can lose horsepower. So you got to put that car in a lot of different positions to find out, to make sure your air box is getting adequate air through that restrictor plate to make the maximum horsepower. So getting those key positions is real important.
And another thing you want to try to learn here, we've already heard Elliott Sadler, by way of scanning his radio, saying he needed a little bit of a gear change. There's not a gear rule here like at the other racetracks, so they're playing with different gears, trying to maximize the horsepower and where the car will suck up in the draft as well.
2 cars that looked a little off that lap. Off turn 2, Matt Kenseth, the white that post number 17, got loose coming off turn number 2, and then going up into 3, Jamie McMurray climbed the hill and had to toss and catch it.
Yeah, a little pitch and catch right there, and I saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. kind of go up the racetrack, said, let me just give you a little bit more room, partner, like you got your hands full.
Here's Marty.
A 2-time Bud Shootout winner Kenny Schrader at least starts in the right spot. Can you keep it up there all night long, Kenny?
He talked like he was happy with his car. He looks like he's happy with his car. He looks like right now he can pretty much put that car about anywhere he needs to.
Kyle Busch quickest, then Junior. Then Kevin Harvick in the Reese's Chevy, Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin are the Fast Five in this first 1 hour of Bud Shootout practice. Congrats to Bobby Gerhart and Matt McCall, who will start on the front row of the ARCA race here in Daytona. You'll see that on Speed as Speed Weeks rolls on from the World Center of Racing. So Kyle Busch will win this first practice session for Jeff Hammonds and Larry Mack. I'm Mike Joy. Hope you're enjoying Speed Weeks on Speed.
Daytona, 21 cars out there, but look at what happened just a moment ago.
You see the 5-car, Kyle Busch, right on the back of 48, Jimmy Johnson. I don't think Kyle sees that 88-car, Dale Jarrett, slowing down. He was bump trapped in the 48-car, Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson had to go to the apron to avoid running over Dale Jarrett.
There we see another shot of the 88 car backing up, and it looks like that 88 was trying to get to the rear of the pack for some reason, and Johnson was very, very lucky.
Now look at this shot. You can't see too far ahead of you. Tony Stewart was right on the back of the 5-car, and you couldn't see Jarrett that was 3 cars up. When you're that close to a guy in front of you, you can't see 2 cars in front.
That's bumpster you're talking about to try to make the wheels go straight up and down in a bump. You couldn't drive the car.
Yeah.
When I'd hit those bumps, the wheels would go in or out, and I was all over the racetrack. We finally just threw all that stuff away. All that work away, went back to a standard package, and it was like driving a luxury car.
Yeah.
That bump down there between 1 and 2 looks more aggressive or more irritating, more pronounced than I remember.
Each year, when you have bumps on a racetrack, each year that nothing's done to the track, those bumps seem to get just a little bit better.
And actually, it's not really a bump like you think a bump.
Right.
It's a hole.
Right.
So you're going down into that hole, and then the car shoots up out of that hole and it launches a car. AB.
Well, I'm just curious. A lot of times when you're out there in these practice sessions, isn't it the driver's call when to bring that car in? Kind of, you know, when he's had enough or he doesn't think he feels he's run enough laps to learn what he can expect the car to do and what they might need to work on. Then he makes the call. He might be even practicing a little pit road entry there.
He's already flattened the right front tire. We talk about all the time about trying to make a pit stop and not lock up the tires. Casey Kane punctured the right front tire trying to stop getting on the pit road.
And in the Budweiser Shootout, you will have to make a pit stop more than likely under green, and that has been an issue in the past. Benny?
Watch, he hits the brakes, and the right front stops turning. The left front also.
For a long time.
And watch, the right front is already flat.
Yep.
It doesn't take any time to punch a hole in those tires.
Do a lot of that. So we made a change there, and the car was a lot better. So I think we'll have a car I can have a lot of fun with tomorrow night.
Smiling like he's expecting fun.
Dale Jarrett will start 9th in the Budweiser Shootout tomorrow night here at Daytona. You'll see it on TNT. Ken Schrader and Jimmy Johnson on the front row. 21 cars for 70 laps. A 20-lap session, then a 50-lap session to decide the Budweiser Shootout tomorrow night. The first race of the 2006 NASCAR Nextel Cup season. For our entire Speed Channel crew, Bill Weber with Wally Dellenbach and Benny Parsons. Thanks for having us in for final practice from Daytona.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Tonight on TNT,